Welcome back to the channel Future CS. I hope your preparations are going good. Let's get into this particular video. You might have seen a lot of ABC analysis on the internet already. The A category, B category, C category chapters. Now this wrong perception people usually get out of this ABC analysis is, I've seen a lot of my students also coming back and asking, sir, I'll do A category. Will that be enough for the subject? Will I be able to pass out from A category? Will I be able to pass out from B category? Let me get this clear. You are not writing a graduation. You are not going through a normal exam. You are going through a professional exam where there is no particular possibility for you to leave a particular chapter as a choice. Every single chapter carries a good amount of weightage, and every single chapter will be very crucial for you to get that extra 2 marks, extra 3 marks, extra 5 marks. How many of the students fail between 30, 35, 40? How many of the students fail between 130, 140, 150? All that happens because they do selective study. They leave certain chapters as a choice. Let's not make this mistake. We'll not do the ABC analysis. Rather, we'll do something as a priority list, where it clearly states that none of the chapter has to be taken as a choice, but we will spend our time on a priority basis based on 4 categories. I've given you 4 categories here: priority list 1, 2 and 3, 4. 4 doesn't mean that you're going to leave it, but you are going to spend little amount of time in it because it doesn't show up hugely in the exam hall. But when it comes to the preparation process, when it comes to our classes, we never bifurcated any chapter based on its weightage. We have always given importance to every single chapter's concept and the depth behind the chapter. For say the share capital, we have spent a lot of time on share capital, but when it comes to the exam perspective, it is not a chapter which comes on the priority list, which is having the least priority. We have to spend a lot of efforts into the share capital, but it doesn't give you huge amount of marks in the question paper. So this priority list will only be able to and make you guys put more efforts on the right amount of topics to make sure that efficient preparation is happening. I hope this is clear. If that is clear, let's get into the video. Priority 1. The priority 1 is that particular set of topics which are mandatory questions. Obviously, all the chapters will definitely show up in the exam hall, mandatory questions, and each one of them will carry somewhere around 10 to 14 marks. 10 to 14 marks for each of the chapter. Get to this. FEMA is not a huge and massive chapter, but I know there is a lot of logic to understand. If at all the classes are done properly, if at all you understand the background behind FEMA properly, FEMA should be a easier chapter for you. LLP, a very small chapter, but it will fetch you 10 to 14 marks. Management administration, including your registers topic, 88 to 122, and accounts of company. These are the 4 set of chapters which will fetch you close to 40 to 50 marks. You heard me right? 4 chapters will fetch you 40 to 50 marks, if not more than that, clubbing with MCQs. The second category, the second list, these are those chapters which are usually mandatory for exam. Most of the time, 99% cases, they will show up in the exam, and each of them will carry a good amount of weightage, 5 to 7 marks. So, dividend, not a huge chapter. Deposit, charges, not huge chapters, but will fetch you 5 marks. So, you have to make sure that you study these chapters and make sure that these 5 marks are in your pocket irrespective of the question. So, similarly, foreign company, a small chapter but very important chapter. Auditors and incorporation. So, these are the chapters which usually are showing up in the exam hall on a regular basis and will carry a good amount of weightage, will get somewhere around 25 to 30. This will be your second priority. And the third priority. I know a lot of faculties will not agree with me on this. A lot of students will also not agree on this. These are the 3 chapters. So these carry a lot of weightage. Yes, I agree. GCA, IOS carry a lot of weightage. Prospectus is not something which will show up every single attempt. It is there is one or the odd attempt, they will skip prospectus chapter. But if it all shows up, it will show up for 5 marks. So I'll put it in the third category. Coming to the debatable category, GC and IOS. I know GC and IOS are carrying a good amount of weightage, sir. They carry some close, both of them combined together carry close to 20 marks. A huge marks for such little small chapters. But tell me, let me tell you what, these chapters carry a huge amount of weightage in the question paper, but they'll not fetch you marks in the mark sheet. They are that kind of chapters where a lot of technical words, lot of terminology has to be used, and you don't expect yourself to do at inter level, especially GCA. Even though it comes for 10 marks, I expect you guys to score somewhere around 4 to 5 marks of the chapter. So that means, sir, this shows up in the exam paper, question paper, but that doesn't reflect marks in your mark sheet. So I don't categorize this as a huge chapter. How much ever efforts you put in, you have to put in efforts. Don't think otherwise on this. You have to put in efforts, but how much ever efforts you put in, that doesn't give you the right amount of value out of it. Hence, I put it in the third category. But make sure that you do prepare these chapters. No taking choices anywhere. The last category. Preliminary, this is one kind of chapter where there are hardly 2 or 3 questions that the institute is continuously asking. The small company topic and the private company, the number of members, 200, or otherwise the basics of your listed company, etc. So very few topics have been tested by ICA and very few possibilities are also there from preliminary chapter, which is not for your exam perspective, but which is for you giving a kickstart to the Companies Act. So this is not that hugely important for exam perspective, but share capital, sir. So you have spent so much time in the classes for share capital. This particular chapter, if coming for exam, will come for 5 to 8 marks. 5 to 8 marks. And this has been compared with the chapter dividend now. Dividend also comes for 5 to 8 marks. Dividend will be hardly like 30% of your share capital. 30% of efforts will give you the same amount of result. So I hope you guys understand the priority list now. Share capital is important. I can't deny it, but at the same point of time, I will not be giving it the most important criteria while I'm studying it. I'll spend a little amount of time, as much as possible. I'll spend little amount of time on the process. So if at all, I hope you have already watched the 6-day schedule plan before you're watching this video. If not, I'll leave a link of that particular video in this particular description or the comment section. Please do go watch it. We'll have this MCQ session on a daily basis for each day of your preparation, and we'll also have a daily exam. So you'll be able to test yourself on a daily basis and understand where you are lacking behind and try to improve on this day 2 or day 3 for that matter. And I'll, at the end of the 6-day schedule, I'll release some few sections which are of the share capital. You know the share capital massive syllabus of section numbers 20, section numbers 43 to 72, but our syllabus ends at 71. This huge syllabus, I'll give you a few 7 to 8 sections which are important for exam perspective. We can first prioritizely on share capital study these particular set of sections and then go through the rest of the sections. If at all you have not yet subscribed to the Telegram channel, please do go subscribe to it. You will get a lot of content, a lot of benefits from the subscription of this particular channel. So we'll meet you on the next video coming up maybe within a week or so regarding penalties and etc. I hope you understand the priority list properly. I hope you make sure that you don't do this selective study, but do the study in a more prioritized basis and an efficient manner. I hope you have understood this. We'll meet you on the next video, guys. Thank you.